I don't know what happened.
We lost one already. Another one bites the dust. There we go.
Listen, this cafecito thing is getting exclusive. If you don't get in here, as soon as we start the show, you're missing out right away. Welcome everyone to Cafecito Break. We are live Mondays 8 p.m. via YouTube, X, and Rumble when we make that connection. I'm your host, Rosangel Pérez, one of the Pérez sisters of Cafecito Break, and today we're chatting some news stories that we are interested in covering, some little or big actually MAHA updates, as well as this alarming digital ID and social media ban. I don't know if you guys have heard about it. That's starting to get activated in Australia. Anyway, let me pass this on to my co-hosts, Cozy and Mark. Welcome everyone to the show. It's time for Cafecito Break. Like, share, subscribe, tell everyone we're live.
What's going on, everybody? Well, we have some amazing news, but before I get to that, introduce myself. My name is Cozy. I'm a former healthcare worker that was fired for refusing the COVID vaccine. I've been fighting in the medical freedom movement for almost 2 decades, and we have some amazing updates today, and we'll get with that soon. Mark, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing spectacular. Mark for NY. Hello, fellow freedom-loving Americans. Another edition of the New York Freedom Fighters podcast every Monday, 8 p.m. I'm a former State Assembly, City Council, U.S. Senate candidate in New York, current trucker, traveling the country, and I get to do the podcast every Monday, no matter what city or state I'm in. And it's good to be alongside my fellow freedom fighters. Back to Cafecito to see what we're starting off with today.
Ay, Dios mío. Well, okay, first I want to kind of make a little confession that every single time this conversation about the digital space just getting more and more, just it feels like a noose around people's neck. So we already heard it. We spoke about it a couple of weeks ago that Apple ID was rolling out a suggested, you could upload your ID, right, for extra protection because we care about the consumer. And then, we're hearing what's going on in the UK. As in his initial statement, Starmer stated, "You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have a digital ID." And if you're asking yourself, well, aren't we in the United States? But don't we see the trickling effect of what happens sometimes in other states happens here, or something gets sort of like rolled out in another country, tested out? I kind of feel like what's happening as a rollout in Australia is connected to all of this. So that's why I wanted to kind of begin talking about it. Have you guys heard any of this, just out of curiosity?
Well, Cozy, you want to go first, or?
No, go ahead.
Well, I mean, it basically started decades ago when both of those countries, Great Britain and Australia, gave up their guns. So as soon as you do that, that's when that it doesn't happen overnight where they start taking freedoms away, but they do it little by little, and there's no way you could have a revolution. So it's basically you don't have a choice. The government has pretty much complete control over you. You could peacefully protest, but they know that you can't do anything. You're not a threat. You don't have a way to defend yourself. You don't have weapons. And you see that with communist countries who try to revolt, and they're throwing rocks and things of that nature against soldiers who have armor and guns. It's not going to work out. So that's the unfortunate reality. We have the First Amendment here in the United States, but it's protected by the Second Amendment. And that's, I keep wanting to reiterate that point, because several times a year we'll have a mass shooting, and the argument will come up constantly about the fear of people and wanting to ban guns. the cities that have the strictest gun laws have the most gun violence because criminals will still have guns and the government will still have guns. Just citizens won't have them to protect themselves. So we need to. I just wanted to bring that home again. So, Cozy, your thoughts?
Yeah, well, when it comes to digital ID, we're in deep trouble because they know that at any time, if they can just literally starve us out, right? You don't follow along. Let's say you don't get a vaccine, you don't, you're not respectful and respectful, or you're hurting people's feelings online. Like they're going to be able to shut that off, and you won't have access to your money, you won't have access to travel, you won't have access to anything. So we know this is coming, and they're always going to use safety, right? If you're we're doing this only to people to make sure minors are not online, right? Or we're going to make sure that criminals don't get online, or you know what I mean? And then that's going to force a check. Now they're going to need your ID to verify whether you're a criminal or not. Okay. And they're going to starve us out. So how do we prepare for this? First, obviously, spread the word, right? Second, say no as much as you can, push back. And third is, which should be first, is start creating the alternative. We don't have that in place right now, and that's a problem. And if you're in a city like New York City, we're in deep trouble because once they shut that off, we don't have access to farmers immediately, right? We don't have these things. But we could develop relationships with them. We should be making connections with people like that to be able to get our food in, food, water, whatever. People might think this is extreme, but let's prepare for the worst. That's all I'm going to say.
I'll drive the trucks and bring the supplies in. Don't worry about it.
Let's do it.
No, but that goes back to my other point, and Cafecito talked about trying it in different areas. You saw the vaccine passport in New York and LA, but you didn't see it in Texas and you didn't see it in Alabama. Why? Because guns are illegal in those cities with the vaccine passports, and the people down south aren't gonna have any of that vaccine passport nonsense. So they did it in New York. They tried to make it seem like they would try to make it popular. They try to demonize the unvaccinated and say they're the reason why people are dying. And thankfully, most people didn't buy the bullshit of what the fake news media was pushing, and we eventually got past that crazy point in our lives. And of course, we revolted, and some of us got arrested and all that, and it was a crazy time. But that's part of the reality. They're gonna try it in the areas where they think they could get away with it, and right now with the digital ID, people don't see it as a threat, and you could see it as something that might be good. Like I talked about the pros to it, like especially in Las Vegas, people lose their driver's license all the time, and then how do they get back on a plane? They at least have it on their phone as a backup or something. But the real threat comes when that digital ID becomes your digital currency and you can't use cash, which is it's just the first step. It's always a long plan in place. It's a first step. It seems like it's harmless, but it's not. The intentions are not good behind it. It's just the first step. So, Cafecito, what do you think?
I absolutely agree with you, and I'm glad that you pointed out the COVID-19 and how they were trying to make it the digital ID. And a lot of us, not just in New York, but there were a lot of lions that stood up in all of these places to fight that. And here it is again. And it's just sort of like I'm just kind of getting lockdown flashbacks. And I wonder if this is going to be the next connection to the next big fight for us, right? So Australia's is going to ban. It's the first to ban on social media accounts for under 16, and this is supposedly going to start December 19th. And covered platforms must take reasonable steps to prevent Australians under the age of 16 from creating accounts with no parental consent exceptions. So under the Online Safety Amendment, social media minimum age, the framework, platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, X, YouTube, Reddit, Threads, Kick, and Twitch are required to block accounts held by under 16 or face fines of up to 50 million Australian dollars, which is kind of, they say, break it down to like 33 million per breach. The rules apply to both domestic and international platforms. Government, I can't say, I'm allergic to saying the word government. Guidance say it says guidance. I can't come
Start
out.
growing hives.
I know.
Break it
I'm
out in
allergic
hives.
to
I
it.
said growing hives.
So this is the part that I want to read, and then because this is why I'm just having or inside temper tantrums. It says the platforms must use age assurance tools, but cannot rely solely on demanding just a simple government ID. So it's pushing companies towards a mix of signals such as AI-based age estimation, behavioral analysis. And the government's privacy regulator has emphasized providers only need to take reasonable steps, leaving room for a whole bunch of difficult technical approaches. So I read this and I'm thinking, oh, is this why all of us here in the United States, we've been getting those little pop-ups like Meta cares about your accounts, and we want to make sure that you're not a teen or whatever. And we are already getting little notices. Do you want to upload a verification selfie? Do you guys know? I know you know, but for the people listening for the first time, if you haven't experienced this, besides uploading your ID, they want you to do it like if you're getting a mugshot. You got to turn left, you got to turn right, and you got to face it because they want to make sure that it's you matching on the ID. What the fuck is that about? So they're saying they only need the young kids to do that, but in all essence, everyone is going to have to participate. And I foresee a lot of people being locked out of social media or maybe leaving social media, certain accounts at least.
Should I send them a selfie like remember when de Blasio put that app and all the New Yorkers were sending pictures of their ding dongs? Show a picture of my butt cheeks. Be like, here you go. You want a selfie? Listen, man, this is craziness. And look, but it sounds so innocent, right? Oh, we're protecting the children, right? Um, it, this is just like there's so many layers to this, but they're sneaky. This is how they're going to do it. Oh, don't you want to protect your kid? And every parent knows like they don't want their kids on TikTok. They're always complaining about it. So like, oh, great, this is going to be great, you know. And listen, it's not going to be a left and right issue. Okay, the right is on board with this. I'm pretty sure. So because a lot of times you hear this rhetoric, right? And it was happening when the whole illegal thing was happening, right? All the illegals coming through. A lot of the right was pushing, we need national ID. You know what I mean? Like you started hearing that shit. So this is not. I don't think this is going to be a left and right issue. This is going to be an issue of we want freedom. Like you know what I mean? Like fuck off, basically. You know. Let's see how this goes, though. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I see how it could be pitched as a positive because the psychological aspects of kids being on social media and cyberbullying and all that stuff, it would be, and it says without parental consent. So there's a parental consent aspect of them being on there. Plus, there's so much pornography and all this stuff on social media now.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I see the positives, but also I see the negatives because even as an adult, you have to prove that you're not 16 years old. And when you talk about behavioral analysis, they're going to think I'm 12 years old the way I talk on social media. So,
and Australia is the absolute worst, right? Australia is the worst government. It's like basically it's like the CCP. They're disgusting. I just can't stand Australia. You know, Australia blocked Dr. Tenpenny from entering the country because she was going to talk about vaccines. This was before 2019. She was about to do a talk, and they wouldn't. They said, "No, you're not coming into our country." Isn't that crazy? She just
yep.
wanted to share information.
Yeah, it's really not just about kids because like Cafecito said, everyone has to prove that they're not a kid now. So they want you to do the facial recognition and like she said, turn left and turn right and make sure that they have the proper facial recognition scan of everyone. And the other aspect of it is most people in society, social media is a part of their life. Some people are addicted to it, look at it every day, but most people are a part of social media now, and that would bring a generation to not be a part of it, not socialize with each other, not learn conspiracy theories, because conspiracy theories are only shared on social media. And I was talking about this with my Uber driver after I, eventually got back from the airport the other day. I don't know whether the powers that be that orchestrated 9/11 and all that really expected Facebook and Zuckerberg and all that to come out with this type of technology where we're all kind of connected and can share information with each other, because they wanted us all isolated. And now this is an entire generation of kids that will grow up that where social media won't be the norm, and communicating and all that is not a part of their life. So are they gonna really look forward to social media when they're 17 if it wasn't a part of their life as teenagers? I don't know. I mean, that's another aspect just off the top of my head that I'm thinking, but I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
Well, you're bringing up another aspect of this conversation that I don't know if it's been thoroughly even considered, because we're speaking about, obviously I'm concerned about privacy, the access, about the social media kind of scores. Like in this, I just posted an article, if anybody's on Cafecito Break on X, and pretty much this is about, the UK getting it wrong with digital ID. Why? Because digital ID allows the state to determine what you can access, not just verify who you are, by functioning as a key to opening or closing doors to essential services and experiences. Now, opening that up a little bit further, how in the heck can a government step in and try to dictate and sort of be the parent here? And I understand, the thing is that I feel like we need a solution, but this is not it. Has the social media folks, have they created chaos so that then this is the solution they come? Don't worry, we know that there's pollution in the social media algorithm and lots of pornography and lots of things your kids are saying, but we can figure this out. But then this is the other thing that reminds me of COVID, right? The collusion of sorts. Like if they don't toe the line, just like social media companies, just like some of them did not want to toe the line until the government kind of said, well, if you don't do this, there's going to be some consequences. And now one of the consequences from Australia is you're going to be fined millions of dollars for each time this is breached. So now the social media companies are in turn are being put in the position to be the enforcer of something that was created, some can argue, as a weaponized system for surveillance, but for the common person, they're using it to communicate with people. It's our public square. How do you all of a sudden pull that away from kids and not expect there to be some sort of revolution? Have you not seen the violent spark up with some students when they try to take the phone away from them? So I don't know. This has a lot of things that can go wrong, besides things that we haven't even thought about, I think.
I hope the kids rebel. I hope they go ape shit in Australia. I hope they just start, pushing back. Because what are they going to do without their TikToks? They're addicted to TikTok like a drug. It's like putting a meth head, letting him loose, taking away his meth. What is he going to do? I hope these kids really push back and start learning how tyrannical their government is.
If they want to talk about adult content like porn and stuff like that, X is filled with it nowadays. And they were very quick to add a fact check almost instantaneously when you talked about something with COVID. There's no algorithm that can detect titties. You
They
can't,
know.
you
They
know what I'm saying?
know. It's
They
big
can get
business.
rid of it anytime they want
Of course
to, but
they
they
could.
don't want to. It's a society thing. They want to destroy our society, and they want us to be communist, and they do that by just making us unmoral. You know, they destroy family values. They want to divide us. It's just, oh, you
And they
know,
make money
that's
on top
all
of that,
part of the
right?
plan. Exactly.
So yeah, they make money on top of it. And it's a win-win for them, you know?
Yeah, I mean, look,
Speak.
the last
Go
thing
ahead.
I'll say is that my big concern here is that privacy, the surveillance, everything is monitored, everything is going to be connected to everything. And then when things go wrong, like when all of a sudden the cloud is offline, or like I'll give you something crazy. The other day, I'm like watching something, I think it was on Amazon Prime, and I needed to update my billing. And all of a sudden, every single credit card I've ever used on Amazon Prime, the last X amount of digits were there as an option on my TV screen to select. And I was so like wow, like that's so weird. I didn't expect that to connect. So it just felt a little bit invasive. I don't like, I don't know. I don't like having to go to my iPad to authorize a change that I want on my iPhone. It just feels like, even I feel even followed by my own devices. Like, oh well,
Mm.
uh, go over here to prove that was you. I'm like, that was me. No, but you have to go to your iPad to confirm from your phone that
Or
was you.
I bought an ice cream last week and I get an instant notification and I'm like, "What?" And I look at my Gmail and it says, "You have purchased," and it gives me a receipt, Square. I'm like, "What?" I didn't want to connect my Square account to my Gmail. Like, why should they know what I'm buying? Like, I literally bought an ice cream. I don't like, down the line they're going to say, "Oh, that's not healthy. We're going to increase your insurance." Like, that's what's coming down the line. They're going to control everything. Oh, you know.
Your name is Cozy's Wellness. Why are
Yeah.
you eating ice
Yeah.
cream, Mr. Wellness?
Yeah, exactly. Like, we're gonna take that away from you. Unbelievable, man.
Well,
Unbelievable stuff.
listen,
But I have a solution.
that wraps up my little whatever I wanted to focus on tonight. So I'll toss it on to you. But yeah, Cozy, continue.
Oh, no, I was gonna say, I've been thinking about this for the last couple of years, but I think it's time that maybe we should put it together like a monthly magazine, right? Offline, just when this shit happens, and people like us are not gonna want to, that we're not gonna want to go along with this. Maybe for our community, we would want to have like digital, actual magazine. So we're going to think about that. We'll talk about that offline, and we'll see if maybe that's something we could do, offer a magazine to our people. But then again, where are we going to research if we can't get online? We're going we're going to be like, oh, there's no libraries. We're not going to be able to get information, but we'll find ways. There's hackers. We're gonna have to become hackers. We're gonna have to find ways to get online, because you're not gonna stop us, mother bleepers. You ain't
I'm
stopping us, just like you didn't stop us during COVID. We
yeah,
got our food.
I'm starting to get more involved with the politics in Nevada, and I mean politics in general. There's door knocking and handing out flyers and everything. There's social media, and social media is important, more so for larger scale campaigns like for president, for mayor, that's citywide, but local elections like state assembly, state senate, you're going knocking on doors in the neighborhood and you're meeting people. So there's ways to keep in touch. Even if they do take away the internet, especially in communities like New York, which are closer together and don't require as much driving to get to. But back to we talked about how they make money off of destroying our society. They do that with vaccines as well, and there's the I'm going to pass it on to you, Cozy, in a second, but there's vaccines like the Hep B vaccine that doesn't sell, so let's just force the babies to get it because the babies can't say no. Children can't say no because they won't go to school, so the parents won't be, are forced to basically shoot up their kids with whatever big pharma wants, and it's been going on for decades, and it's criminal. You're talking about the amount of vaccines, I don't know the exact number, but 40 or something before they're like 1 years old. Babies just getting shot up with everything. I know Cozy's more familiar with the numbers and the details, so I'll pass it on to you. We do got to wrap up the first half in about 3 minutes, though. So just pass it back and we'll continue.
I just want to say, I know why Rosangel just smirked before about comment number 2 from Robert White. Anyway, Robert, what's up? But anyway, yes, I want to talk about hepatitis B. Yes, there is a new update. So basically, the American Academy of Pediatrics is whining and kicking and screaming because of a very small little change, a very tiny change. Okay, all that happened right now was last week, the CDC ACIP committee, as they do every year, they get together, they have meetings, and they discuss vaccine policy and all sorts of crap. Okay, this year they agreed, right? 8-2 was it, or 8-3? I forgot what the number was, but anyway, it doesn't matter. The fact is they passed it, and from now on, they're not recommending the hepatitis B vaccine on day one, basically, right? When a newborn, imagine this now. Every year, every time a woman gave birth, they would inject your kid within 24 hours with a hepatitis B vaccine, a sexually transmitted disease vaccine, right? Automatically, just given to everybody universally. That's going to stop now. That stopped. And what they're saying, which is pretty logical, is if your mother is not hepatitis B positive, your child does not get the hepatitis B vaccine. Isn't that like common sense? Why are we injecting every kid with a sexually transmitted disease preventing vaccine, which it doesn't prevent nothing? That's my opinion. Full of aluminum. Then they're wondering why these kids have learning disabilities. Okay. And all sorts of autoimmune diseases and allergies and chronic diseases. Like day one, you're injecting them with something that has been designed to initiate an immune response. Okay? Think about this, people. You're injecting your baby with something that its job, its main role is to initiate the immune response, the inflammatory response. And then you're wondering why the kid has all these problems. And then you're arguing with people like me and us. No, it doesn't. It doesn't cause this. It doesn't cause that. How can it not? You're telling the body's immune system to wake up and act crazy. You're telling it to attack things. And it's supposed to be practice. Anyway, the point is, from now on, it's not going to be first day, but they are recommending it, which I'm disappointed in. They're recommending it at 2 months. So instead of newborn, you're getting it 2 months later. To me, it's still damage for the kid. If it was me, I'd be like, no hepatitis B ever. No human needs that. No human needs it. Anyway, so I don't know why the American Pediatric Academy is kicking and screaming. Why? Because we can't inject the kid. We can't poison them at first day of birth. We have to poison them at 2 months. We want to poison them immediately. That's what they want. They want to poison them immediately. No, but actually the reason why they're getting angry is because they don't want vaccines to be questioned, right? They don't want any question. They want you to believe that it's as pure as water. Okay?
Just really quick, Cozy, just wrapping up the first half on Brooklyn Free Speech. We air every Monday, 8 p.m. Get more into pretty much all vaccines suck, but if you follow us, you'll find out more information on all that. And we'll see you next time on Cafecito Break, YouTube, Rumble, X. Thank you, everyone. All right, back to Cozy for the second half of the show. Continue on.
Okay. Yeah, I was getting into it. Sorry, I get my emotions riled up with this topic because it's very dear to my heart. I fought for my kids for years to get them religious exemptions. So I've experienced it all. The removal of their religious exemptions. It's been a roller coaster since 2015 for us, and even 2009, with my flu shot situations in the hospital, whatever. So I've been fighting this thing like a roller coaster. Then we went into COVID and, all this stuff that happened to us. So I get really passionate about this topic. So anyway, hepatitis B, yes, it's still recommended at 2, which is very disappointing, but I am happy that at least the conversation has begun. Thank you to Robert Kennedy Jr. for initiating that. And they were fighting so hard for this not to happen. And you're hearing it. So now we're going to hear we're going to see all the blue states are going to come up and say, we're not listening to the CDC. We're going to only listen to, the American Pediatric Association. Okay? Shame on you doctors who are still pushing this, kicking and screaming. You guys are poisoning children. Your advice is killing children and injuring them. And yes, I said it. Yes, I said it. Anyway, so that's that. Any questions? If you guys have any questions, let me know. Comment section, or if you guys have questions about what actually just happened. But that's basically the gist of it.
Yeah, it's basically like I said before, they're forcing people to buy something that they have no control over. The Hep B vaccine was out before it was administered in infants, and it wasn't something that was making enough money. So let's just force babies to get it because they have to get it because we say they have to get it, and that's it. And it all comes down to dollars. And if they get side effects, you know what happens? Big Pharma makes more money because we have more medication for them. Doctors make more money because we have more treatment for them. There's no motivation for doctors in the pharmaceutical industry to actually do their job and take care of people because if people get side effects or get sick, that just makes more money. Force them to get it, make money by forcing them, and then make more money by the side effects. It's as simple as that. That's my soundbite for the day.
What's my little soundbite? Well,
And I don't know if it's me, but I can't hear anybody, so I think I'm going to log out and log back in because, of course, I said.
yeah, I think that Mark, whenever Mark says something and on the live and the algorithm doesn't like it, he just gets ejected. So hopefully he'll come back. But it's not us. I promise, right, Cozy? We didn't do it. This subject is just another one of those. The amount of people who get irritated. I think that the first thing I saw after that announcement was the politicians, the farmer whores, coming out and saying what a horrible decision that was. And as I'm reading these statements from these politicians, I ask myself, oh, when did Eric Adams become a doctor? Right? Because we got those criticisms too, remember? When we would say, hey, just look into this data. Oh, you guys are not no doctors? Who the heck are you? And all of us started getting censored and left and right. So how there's just a lot of hypocrisy on all ends. And as always, the human beings, regular folks, the ones that are every day trying to just make a living and not, we don't care about the politics, we get the shorter end of the stick. This is what worries me, because in real time today, since the COVID rollout, since 2020, just in my little personal circle, maybe there's 15 to 20 people that have died. Doesn't that seem like a large amount for anyone to be reporting in just the last couple of years?
Mm-hmm.
And no, they're not all because of the shot, but lockdowns contributed to a huge spike in mental illness. Some people are so unhappy that they don't want to be on this planet anymore. The lockdowns have displaced a lot of people and have displaced a lot of relationships. At what cost? We are lonelier and more upset and more angry than ever. And yet people who, like Democrats who say that they're the party of the people, they just want to convince us more government, more government. I don't know what's happening with the Republicans and their push for tracking and tracing and surveillance systems, but we got to fend for ourselves, people. That's where we're at. And then at the same time, in real time, there is such a collapse, not only in mainstream media, but also in the big conservative media, right? I haven't been paying too much attention, so I can't even say if that's happening on the left too with their alternative media. But there's a big collapse. There's a lot of infighting. Everybody's fighting. I ask myself, is that a distraction from something much bigger that we should be paying attention to? And sometimes I think that as we're paying attention, oh, Nick Fuentes and Tucker and Candace and everybody's fighting over here. Oh, but what's happening with the digital ID? Are we all going to get blindsided all of a sudden? Because there's rumors that there are all of these protests happening in certain places. Now, how much of those videos have you seen? I haven't seen that many, but they say that there exists. And we know that in New York, we were protesting and protesting. And when our rallies got really big, when they got reported in the media, oh, just a couple of 100 or 1,000 showed up.
A couple of lunatics, yeah. Listen, and you make a good point, because listen, none of the sides are talking about it, right? And that's where it's scary. It's usually, it's all gatekeeping. All this political stuff, all these things that happen, they happen because there's big money behind it. You don't really see grassroots movements, right? These grassroots movements are usually, most of the time, they're funded, because I've been through so many different campaigns I've participated in, and I've seen, and we've all seen here, what kind of money it takes to grow massive movements, right? A lot of these movements that people see and they think they're grassroots, like the Mamdani socialists, right? DSA, that's not grassroots, people. That's billions of dollars behind that crap, okay? So what I'm saying to you guys is, this digital ID stuff is going to sneak up very fast. And it's because the big people are not talking about it. All these influencers, all these, even the Republican side, conservative side, they're not really talking about it. You know who's talking about it? People like us, right? People who are not controlled. We're the ones who are going to need to investigate this further and find a way to stop this and organize people, unite people to push back, because you're not going to get it from the Trump side. You're not going to get it from the Mamdani side. You're not going to hear it. They're all going to push that shit. Okay? They're going to say it's for your safety. I have been saying this for years. I predict a cyber attack's going to happen, and it's going to be their own fucking intelligence agencies doing it. And then they're going to say, oh, it's the boogeyman of this, the boogeyman of that. One side's blaming Islamists. One side is blaming, conspiracy theorists, right? One side's going to blame somebody else, right? They're going to blame somebody. They're going to do it themselves, like they always do. And then they're going to say, sorry, guys, it's for your safety. Show me your ID. Show me your nostrils. Show me a close-up of your nostril hairs.
We need to protect the children. All of a sudden, the social media people and the government, with so many of them are behind such dark things with children, but they want to convince us that they care about the children. And my thing is, why is it always the action? Like, why do we, the common folk, have to be the one proving all of these things? This is who I am, bro. I don't need to be jumping up hoops. I already got my passport. I already got my driver's license. How many fucking more IDs do I need?
They want
It's
to see your cell membrane. They want to see your cell membrane. That's what they want. They want
No, and
details.
here's another thing. Have any of you had to do a verification that feels like that, but a whole bunch of lights come at you? So I think it's connected to the government. I got to look into it, but I did witness someone get this type of verification of their ID, like for their business, for example, in New York. And so they say, okay, take your smartphone. You need to be in a dark room. Isn't that weird? Because that's, I was like, wait, usually you want to be in a well-lit area. Well, I had no idea what was coming as I was observing this. Now, all of a sudden, the person's in a dark space and there's all of these flashes coming. I don't know what the fuck that was, but just observing it started creating an anxiety in me. Now, why do I say that? Because there are people who are sensitive to strobing, right? They put those little
the warnings about seizures.
Yes. And the person who experienced this was feeling off for at least 15 minutes after this stupid verification. Now we have a lot of people who are energetically sensitive. All of these things that communicate information, the sound of your voice, these are wavelengths that are traveling. Thought forms travel. People can feel things. People who are very sensitive to just technology, this can feel and is an attack on their system. I don't know how we fight against this, how we defend, because imagine the people who are rolling this out, they're thinking with their mind. They're not thinking about how this affects the body. They're not thinking about how this is a violation of the human spirit and soul. And I feel body autonomy. Like I think there's so many wrongs here that we haven't even begun to scratch the surface with this Trojan horse of a thing.
Whew, yeah, man, it's a heavy topic, but listen, we got to get better at understanding it and seeing ways we can put a stop to this, if there's a way to stop it. I believe there is a way to stop it if we fight back, but these people are determined and well invested in these systems, so it looks like they're gonna hit us very quickly with it. But you know, I just also have some new exciting news, last minute news. Uh, Basically, I just heard from Sujatha Gibson, who's a lead attorney, one of CHD's attorneys, and been fighting back for religious exemptions, that the Supreme Court has pretty much forced the, and I don't know all the details, so I don't quote me on everything of this, but basically what I know is that the Supreme Court got involved and told a lower court that they have to make a new decision on religious exemptions. And what Sujatha commented was like, this is a game changer, basically. She said, checkmate, we're getting our religious exemptions back pretty much very soon. It doesn't mean it's going to happen right away, but now the gate is open for them to argue. And there's a precedent, and we're going to talk about this once I get all the information. I'll talk about it more, and maybe next time around. But there's precedent that she feels confident that all states are going to get the religious exemption back. It's about freaking time.
I saw something about Florida allowing parental decisions for vaccines entirely. So not even religious exemption, just if you want to give your kids a vaccine, you can. You don't have to require them to go into school. And that's the way it should be nationwide. If you want to go and poison your kids with that BS, then go ahead. But it's, I didn't there's still a large percentage of the population that thinks we're just crazy anti-vaxxers because they say trust the science, but they don't actually know the science. They don't know what they don't know what the ingredients are on these things and why it's being put into children, and they don't realize that why would a kid with for a sexually transmitted disease, or they talk about needles in the playground. They could step on a needle in the playground. That's Hep B, and when has that ever happened? Never. So it's just they come up with this BS so they could sell this concept of giving them a shot that they don't need. That's has ingredients that could cause side effects and make them sick. It's pure evil. That's really what it comes down to. And Robert White reminded me with the comment that he put on YouTube that Cafecito put. They give you the cure with the sickness every time. The way this is explained, the best way possible with the whole COVID thing, the vaccine didn't happen because of COVID. COVID happened because of the vaccine. So they already had this plan of globally mandating a vaccine for everyone and making trillions, not billions, but trillions of dollars in the process with taxpayer money. So it's insane. And what happens? There's a mRNA vaccine causing cancers, and people have to go to the hospital and get treatment for that. You have all these other side effects, all these myocarditis. The list goes on. Made them sicker so they could make more money, and there's no actual benefit of the vaccine itself. It's not saving anybody from COVID. COVID was a glorified flu that you get sick for a couple of weeks and you get better, and it was made in a lab in the first place. So it's horrible, and it's not a conspiracy theory. It's the reality of the situation, and it is a population control agenda, as crazy as that may sound, but it is. And you have people who are unvaccinated who have mRNA in them because of shedding, and I've seen the studies on that too. So, even if you didn't get the vaccine, there's mRNA and spike proteins from other people getting it and you being in close contact with them. So it's just, and they're Bill Gates putting it in the meat and the vegetables, and it's like, it's insane. It's just
I went
a
into a
crazy
deli
world we
today.
live in.
I went into a deli today. I got a water, and I'm on the counter, and the TV was on, and they look at the timing of this. So the TV was on, and it started talking about young kids are getting heart disease. It was saying like a lot of young kids are getting heart disease. They were talking about kids in their 20s. And then I said, "Oh, I wonder why." I went like that, and the guy looked at me. He's like, "Oh, what do you think it is? The diet?" I said, "No, it's not the diet." I said, "It's the COVID shots." And then he said, "Oh, come on." He's like, "Are you kidding me?" So like, I'm like, "Listen, diet." I said, "When you're 20 years old, uh, you could eat all the junk you want, right? All the junk you want at 20. No, but
Yep,
you're not getting a heart attack. That takes decades." I said,
yep.
I've been in healthcare for a while." I said, "I'm telling you now, the diet will affect you maybe when you're late 30s, 40s if you're really eating garbage, but it really starts hitting you at 50, like bad decisions, right? It's not going to hit you at your 20s. You have like flexible vessels, and you bounce back so quick." So once I
Even
said that to
smoking.
him, he looked at me and he was kind of looking at me like weird. And then there's this black guy behind me says, nah, he's right. He's right. He's like, "That shit's the shots. That shit's the shots." He said, and I was like, "Yeah, let's go." Listen, I said, "Listen, man," I told the guy, like, "You got to look into it. It's the shots. They're poison." And I said, "They poison the whole world. And that's it. I'm telling you now," I told him, "it's the COVID shots and they're dropping dead and it's on the package insert." I said, "Read it." And
The
he
problem
looked at me
is
and he was like nervous to respond to me. I was like, "Yup." I said, "Read it."
like when you say do your own research, people go to Google and they read the first few pages and
Not research.
they see everyone saying how it's a conspiracy theory and they try to talk all smart and make it seem like the science is
Yeah, you're
great
dumb.
and all that other bullshit. It's
Unapproved
just
science. Just like what Rose Angel was saying. Rose Angel was saying, like, they tell you, "Are you a doctor?" You're not a doctor. But then when you find them a doctor, when you find them a scientist, no, not that doctor. So you just want to prove doctors? You want a government doctor? Is that what you want? Like, he's not
the
approved by the government. Your government's fucking corrupt. Okay? If you're believing your A&D physician, right, that's kicking and screaming over the Hep B shot not given to a newborn, that doctor's a clown. You're
they're
incompetent. You should get your license stripped if you're a doctor promoting Hep B shots for newborns.
they're making money for every vaccine that they give. What's so hard to understand? Their
Some of them
opinion
believe it.
isn't their
Some of them
opinion
actually
isn't
believe it.
I actually had a post. I reposted a post today by somebody that I just discovered who did a good post about the Hippocratic Oath, and there was somebody who commented, "Oh, there is no oath taken." I'm like, and then I click on it, and she or he is studying to be a nurse. I'm like, please do society a favor and don't pursue a
Tell that to
career
my
in the medical field.
proud Greek mother. If you tell her that like the Hippocratic Oath doesn't exist, she'll go nuts. No, it comes from Greece. Sorry, mom.
There's no oath taken. They said she or he
There's
said,
no
I
oath.
don't know,
She's
but
like, before they become doctor, they have to swear oath to the Hippocratic Oath. Greeks invented everything. That's my mom.
I love that you just reminded me of the movie My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Oh yeah, it's literally my family's just like that, really. And
Well, Cozy, you reminded me the other day. I'm looking up. I went into Facebook real quick, and I see somebody that is online saying, "Everyone, I just got my flu shot and the latest COVID shot, and I recommend everyone do the same."
man, these stories, man, I gotta say this.
And I had to, I had to kind of look. I was like, "Don't assume. Maybe this is a meme. Don't assume. Maybe." I
maybe
have
it's
to
a
go. I went.
throwback from 2001,
That was what
2021, excuse me.
this was what I was about to say next. I was like, "Oh, maybe this was like a memory that I'm seeing." No, it was posted November 2025, and I was like,
No, they're so brainwashed people. People like there was a lady that I worked with, and it was the flu shot season when they were pushing people. So she gets the flu shot, right? and I see her collapse right in front of me. She
Oh
collapsed
no.
right in front of me. She she's down. She gets up. She didn't look good. She went home, went to the doctor, comes back 3 days later because she was very sick. Comes back 3 days later. She's like, man, she's like, I really felt that one. She's like, but thank God I got my flu shot because it could have been worse. And I was like, oh my God, what are you talking about? What are you talking? I said, are you crazy? I said, don't ever take it again. You're going to die. You're lucky you're not alive. Oh, get out of here with that. She's like, get out of here with that conspiracy theories. I was like, okay, keep taking it, you stupid moron. I was like, begging her. I was like, please, please. I won't say her name, but please don't take it. Don't take it. She's like, nah, it could have been much worse. A person my age. She's like, a person my age. I was like, that's what made you fall to the floor. She's like, nah, what the doctor told me was because I already had flu in my system, and that's why I fell. Because she's like, I passed out because I had the flu in my system. I was like, fire your doctor. Your doctor's a retard. That's what I
No, they're lying. The doctors are straight up lying. They're so full of shit. It's like, oh my, it's like, oh, you didn't get myocarditis because of the COVID vaccine. You already had it. It's just now it's being able to be detected, or some
No, I
bullshit
told her.
they
I
would say
flat
to
out told her. I
people
said, I
like,
thought you were smarter than that. Like, how can you fall for this? How could you fall for this deception? I was like, I
literally
can't
fall
talk
for
to
it.
you. I can't talk to you. Don't talk to me anymore. I told her,
Literally
please.
fall on the ground for it.
Oh man, I want to under
It's
this
this
episode. Yay!
little baby Tutu has made his
I
debut.
love him. He's great. Bring him back on.
Did you see? Do you see the guy who does the songs with those chickens, and he
Oh
dresses in a
yeah.
Yeah, he's
tuxedo?
great.
We need to have him do a theme song for
Wait,
the show.
I gotta ask him something. Bring him back. I gotta ask him a question. Did he get vaccinated for the avian flu shot? Listen, my mother just told me, speaking of which, she said in Greece, they're killing goats. They're killing goats because they're saying that they have some kind of virus. I got to look into this. But it's like a, you know, how they scare people with the avian flu. I don't know what, some type of flu. And my mom's like, man, people are upset. Farmers are upset. They're literally giving their goats shots. Or, I mean, don't quote me on that. But what she told me is like, they're killing off lots of goats and saying they got sick from this disease. So I don't know if they have the vaccine ready, but I'll have to find out. I'm going to research this because this is going to be another whole thing, you know, like some kind
Yeah,
of goat virus.
you can't actually get sick from meat that has a virus, because once it's cooked, the virus is dead. Like,
Correct,
so.
correct. So they're killing these poor animals, man. It's breaking my heart, like just to hear about that, you know.
I'm sorry.
Robert's getting his cootie shot.
Robert's making me laugh.
Yeah, circle, circle,
Could
dot,
put
dot. Now I
could put
got my
that
cootie
on.
shots. Robert White, shout out to Robert White, the epic freedom fighter from the Bronx. Makes the best signs. Really great guy. Really great guy. Love him.
That's,
Okay.
one more topic really quick before we start going to final thoughts. I know Candace Owens is a big topic. Just a quick update. You know, she was accused of backing out because her husband said he doesn't want her to go in person. Um, so she said she would do it virtually, and now Turning Point USA is saying they'll only do it in person. Now, my opinion is, what questions need to be asked in person that can't be asked virtually? Like, what is the difference? Like, I mean, is there something that this show would do better? I mean, is there something that we could talk about in person that we can't talk about the way we're talking about it right now?
And where
I
would this
don't
be?
agree with that.
Do you know where this would have been held? Was it like a big event? Like maybe they're
Oh
charging tickets?
no, it was going to be, I think, in their studios in Arizona.
That, man, I wouldn't go. If I was her, I wouldn't go either.
Yeah, I mean, she's worried about the security threat. There's legit death threats on her, and her husband is
Absolutely.
worried too. And he put his foot down, saying, "No, you're not going." And she said she'd still do it, but virtually. So, I mean, yeah, they're calling Candace crazy, but what's her motivation? She's not exactly getting deals with any major companies by going with this narrative. And she was friends with Charlie Kirk, so she wants. I mean, Charlie Kirk was killed, so she wants the truth, and everyone wants to call her crazy, but that's the same thing that they do to us, calling us crazy conspiracy theorists. That's a story as old as time. So I just wanted to throw that out there, my opinion. I know that this is a topic that's probably requires a more lengthy discussion, and we're at the end of the show. But if you guys want to add anything to it, or we could just skip forward to final thoughts.
You know, I'm glad you mentioned it because listen, I get a lot of people on my side when I post her stuff. They're all like attacking me. They're sending me messages. Oh, you believe Candace? She's crazy. She's crazy. Why is she crazy? Why is she crazy? Because she's
Yeah.
questioning the narrative. Because she has text messages of Charlie Kirk telling her, "I'm afraid for my life," telling me, "I'm worried about these donors." Listen, people, stop believing in left-right politics. Okay, that's how they gatekeep you. Think as an individual. If she's telling you something in her gut, she's not going to ruin her reputation. You think she's going to just come up with some nonsense like this? She's a great investigator. She's a great researcher. She's been right almost everything she's said so far. She was right about a lot of things that she's broken in the past. She's an exceptional journalist, and you guys are doubting her sanity. Oh, she's crazy. She's crazy. And I get certain people messaging me all the time with these mockeries. Listen, I don't give a fuck what you think about me. I'm going to say it. If I was her, I'd be suspect. We know that was fucking weird. That was a fucking weird assassination. Okay, I don't think that boy was responsible for it all alone. I think he played a part of it. I don't know what part he played in, but it seems like somebody behind them might have taken him out. Why did they cover the cameras? Why did they quickly grab the cameras and fucking take him away immediately? Guys jumping over, he's on the phone. I've seen so many different angles that anybody with a fucking brain should do the research and investigate it. Stop believing what, you know, the right says, what the left says. Stop it. Think
Yeah.
for yourselves. And that goes with every fucking topic.
Nick Fuentes even said he
I
thought it was
fucking hate
Tyler
that guy.
Robinson. Like it's like what? Like really?
That guy's
So
a
you could tell he's full of crap too. So he tried to take the spotlight after Charlie Kirk, and all of a sudden I'm seeing a whole bunch of Nick Fuentes stuff, and he says as of now I think it was Tyler Robinson. Yeah, so he shot Kirk in the freaking neck and then went to Dairy Queen afterwards. A Dairy Queen that was out of business a week later, apparently, because that's the only footage you could get of Tyler Robinson that day was at the Dairy Queen because everything else was confiscated. So the entire Dairy Queen needs to close a week later. So that's not suspicious at all. But Cafecito, what do you think?
Ay, ay, ay.
You don't have to talk about it if you don't want to. I
No,
mean,
no.
we're wrapping things up.
I think that in all fairness, I should say something at least. I agree that I don't think it's a wise move for Candace to do a one-on-one live, especially because in the landscape of everybody who's talking about Charlie Kirk, she seems like the only one with a true interest in wanting to discover what happened to her friend. I know that for some people that may look irrational, but grief brings irrational out of people. Love does that too. And when you smell bullshit and you are in the game and you are directly connected behind the scenes and you're privy to conversations behind the scenes, and then you're seeing how they're playing out in public, and then you're seeing how people are corresponding quietly behind the scenes. Now, here's the thing, is what I'm going to ask the community. Listen to who sounds authentic. The people, sketchy move number one for me. There were many sketchy moves that Turning Point USA did immediately after Charlie Kirk died, that is and will forever be considered in poor taste. What they're still doing that I think is in poor taste is going live from that man's X base every day. Why are you going live from the Charlie Kirk? Every single time someone passes away, they retire their page. Why are we going live? That to me is you're using this man's name. I don't know the politics behind. I don't. It just doesn't seem in poor taste. You see Charlie Kirk, that's not him transmitting. It's somebody that people are unfamiliar with. And in most cases, listen to the tonality of some of the way some of these people are even giving you reports. I'm not even interested. It's boring. It sounds superficial. It sounds like there's like a stiffness. It doesn't flow. Now, I do not know what's happening behind the scenes. I do not know if they're trying to figure things out. But the way they have presented themselves as an organization leaves a lot of people to wonder if the organization of Turning Point really does care to find out what happened to Charlie Kirk, and are they really protecting his legacy? Because the way it looks to me, someone who visited the AmFest a few times, big fans, convince the super PAC to go to AmFest because I wanted all those people. We wanted everybody to sort of be in the same like space together, because we saw what AmFest was doing, like the way it was energizing so many people and inspiring so many people. They were doing great work. Whatever has happened, what we're seeing now does not feel like anything that I witnessed in those 2022 and 2023 when I was there around some of these people. I've met great friends from those conferences that we're still connected to this day. But as far as how Turning Point heads are handling this whole Charlie Kirk, is just very distasteful. I personally have unsubscribed from their emails, and if there's no authenticity there, I'm not interested in even hearing about Turning Point, to be honest. And I feel sorry saying that. I didn't want to make a public comment very close, because when you're seeing the grieving wife, right? But then even Erica, in her public statements, there are many things that she's left by her own actions have created a lot of questions. Again, what I will tell people is grief brings out very weird things in people. Some people get very hysterical, some people get very emotional, some people shut down, and they seem like they're disconnected from the pain. Everybody has their own grieving process, so people on the outside, we can't judge it. Nobody is inside anybody's mind, brain, and heart, and we're not in those rooms. But I think collectively as humanity, we all know we're not getting the truth.
I saw a video recently that showed somebody who was just on a lower level of one of the Turning Point locations, and they were kind of isolating people, that taking them out to drink and stuff, and then talking to them one-on-one. And the leaders within Turning Point at this event was speaking to this guy. Now, how true this is, I don't know, but they they asked their opinion of Israel, and what about Israeli intelligence, Mossad, and they said that they were Mossad. Now, again, I don't know how true that is, but at the same time, my point is, I do believe that there are people within Turning Point USA that are corrupt, but I also believe that there are a lot of really, really good people within Turning Point USA. A lot of the influencers, a lot of the people on college campuses. So you can't take the entire organization as a whole and demonize them just because of the way things were happening, because there were people in Turning Point that wanted to speak to the media and got shut down immediately. They took everything down. Like, well, who takes down a crime scene that quickly? That's supposed to be the yellow tape and proper investigations. None of that happened. So everything about the whole situation was shady, and there's a lot of people, myself included, that are going to continue talking about it the same way I'll continue talking about how 9/11 was an inside job, and the same way people will talk about the JFK assassination being corrupt, because it was. There was definitely no Tyler Robinson was the lone gunman, and that was the reason. You had the other old guy who was claiming he was the gunman. So, like, why would he do that? There's just a lot of lot of angles to this that don't make any sense. So to go and call Candace a crazy conspiracy theorist and just say that what the people said on the news, which is lied to us constantly, is what the truth actually is. So, with that being said, well, I'm sure we'll talk about the situation more in the future. But you guys want to wrap it up with final thoughts, or what do you think, Cozy? Anything else you want to add?
Sure, sure. All I know is if I ever die like that, I want a friend like Candace Owens.
Well,
You
you
know?
got two of them right here.
Thank you.
Lions, not sheep.
So yeah, closing comments. Thank you guys for joining us. Please share this video with others. We want to expand to more ears. I think we have interesting things to say from our point of views, or very unique point of views, and get the word out. And keep thinking independently, and never stop doing that. I want to tell you guys to check out my soaps, Cozy's Pure Soaps. Go to Instagram.com/Cozy's Pure Soaps and clean your buns. Let's go. Christmas gifts for everyone. That's pretty much it. We're going to have an amazing guest next week. I think Jessica Sutta's coming on, correct? And we'll have lots more guests for you coming this year. We're going to have great shows. Keep tuning in, 8 p.m. Eastern every Monday.
Thank you, Cozy. Mark?
Yeah, I think don't trust the government. Don't. There's an old saying: don't believe everything you hear in the papers, and it goes the same now. Don't believe whether it's Fox News, Newsmax, CNN, MSNBC. They all have their narrative. They're all not exactly telling the whole truth. So question everything. That's the way it should be. There's nothing. There's the comedian that said, "You don't believe in any conspiracy theories? Like, not one?" Like, I could understand not believing in all of them, but no conspiracy theories? Like, you think the government's just batting 1,000? Like, come on.
I
So,
know.
to
What's wrong
just
with you? What's wrong with you? Open your freaking brain.
and follow the money when it comes to anything, whether it's big pharma, like I talked about before. They make money off of the vaccines. They don't care about your health. The doctor makes money off of it. They make more money off of it when you come back sick with side effects, because they'll prescribe you something else. You follow the money when it comes to political motives. You just follow the money when it comes to everything. So money has not been my motivating factor in politics. And Robert just gave another shout out for Cozy's Pure Soap. Clean your buns. I said wash your ass for class. You didn't like that, but clean your buns is
Hey, too
acceptable.
dirty. I get bad visuals with that one. It's just the language you use gives me like it
Got
just
to keep it PG-13.
when I hear that I just picture ugly things. Don't say that word. But anyway, I just sprayed the air with some amazing product that Rose Angel made. And she didn't pay me to say this. This is great. I bought it from her the other day. We were at I went to the market, and we got this Palo Santo. This is a great Palo Santo spray. Great product, by the way. It smells great, and my house feels great. Thank you, Rose Angel.
Well, I'll accept the thank you, but it really goes to Alex that she makes the Palo Santo spray.
Oh, nice.
And it is,
Thank you, Alex.
yes. And if you like Palo Santo, like the incense, that's a nice little mist. It's very grounding, and it also it's mood shifting. So if you walked into an environment and you know that somebody just had an argument and you were like, today's not the day for me to be absorbing these bad vibes. Spray that into the air. Listen, this is not any like juju stuff. This is just you're working with plant medicine. You're misting this into the air. You're inviting the breath, and you're just the notes, the sense shifts. Just like the noise can shifts you, the scent can shift
Listen,
Mm-hmm.
you.
I can tell you right now, like this is not believing in like witchcraft and stuff like that. This smells great. This makes you feel great because it smells great. That's what I'm gonna say. It
I
smells like
need to spray
cinnamon.
some of that in my truck. Send me the link.
Probably right. It smells like cinnamon. It just like the smell alone changes your mood. That's all I'm gonna say. You don't have to believe in anything else, just the spray. So it's all about the
I
intention.
spray the inside of the truck with like lavender essential oils to clean
Nice.
stuff. So like the smell is supposed to relieve stress because I'm stressed out all the time. I mean, not when I'm driving, just when I'm dealing with other BS. But yeah, so that would be good.
Yeah, you're gonna need some Palo Santo spray.
There you
And
go.
I make something that's Grace spray. It's like a base of like spring water and a little bay rum and floral citrus notes. Again, it's like an affirmation spray. A lot of the people who buy it, they like to use it in the morning. They step into it and they take a gratitude breath. They remember their breath in the morning. And it's like stepping into grace. And I have people who work with, you know, clients like in a hospital setting that use gray spray and mist the room because it just creates this little light aroma that hits a person like in a very gentle way and then just dissipates. It's not invasive, but it can shift the mood. And when we are talking about living in this environment where many people are experiencing heightened anxiety, for example, or maybe anger, sometimes you're not, you know, if you're like me, I'm not somebody who's gonna be taking like a prescription or something. I'm gonna try to work with like plant medicine. If I can't consume a tea, then maybe I want to smell something that like Palo Santo to ground me. For example. So thank you, Cozy, for that shout out, and thank you, Mark. Love you guys. I really appreciate doing the show with you, and thank you, Robert, for your comments, and thank you everyone who connects with us. Please, every Monday, live, 8 p.m., follow the host, Cafecito Break, Cozy's Wellness, Marfa and Y. If you want to connect with us on Cafecito Break, follow our Substack, cafecitobreak.org. If you want to leave a donation, you could find links there. And lastly, I want to close by saying I'm doing a gratitude challenge for 90 days. I am in day 8. It's very simple. Join the 29 love letters, like 29 love letters on Substack. So visit substack.com and join. You could have a little gratitude. Just say your gratitude every day for as long as you can. And that little practice, as simple as it is, it's another portal to get me into a lighter space. I like to practice it at the end of the year because the end of the year is when a lot of people start, like, especially if it's like a winter end of the year where you live in your part of the world, people start experiencing depression, you know, sad seasonal depression. So this is just another way to like combat that in a way that's simple and easy and takes maybe 5 minutes out of your day every morning. So if you want to commit and you need an attitude shift like I do sometimes, gratitude is the way. So that's really it for me, guys. If there's anything else that you want to say, love you guys. Thank you for tuning in, and please spread the word. We've got Jessica Sutter, who is a former member of the Pussycat Dolls. Yes. I was going to say another word, but that was not correct. Former member of the Pussycat Dolls, and she is a MAHA mamacita. We are so proud and we admire her so much, and we're really excited that she's going to join us again. So spread the word. Monday, December 15th, Jessica Sutter joins us on this podcast, 8 p.m. So love you guys. See you.
Adios, familia.
We're gonna close with Cozy's Pure Soap commercial.
Clean your buns.
Clean your buns. Clean them clean.
Great sharing, stocking stuffers.
Yes, clean your buns. I just have to find. Oh, here we go.
Cozy's Pure Soaps, so fresh and so clean.